Hello and welcome once again to Defining Your Health. I am your host, Chantel Neal, and today we have another exciting discussion for you as usual. But we want to thank you for joining us, whichever platform you are viewing us from, be it Facebook, YouTube, or Channel 98. Thank you. I want to invite you to share this program today. We have a wonderful guest that has joined us, a health enthusiast, none other than Miss Lisa Moody. It's her first time on our Defining Your Health show. Thank you for coming. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for the invitation.
Miss Lisa and I go all the way back, and we've always been interested in health, caring for our bodies, learning how to live a better lifestyle. You know, with having backgrounds, families with diabetes and cancer.
Yeah.
You know, it was a passion of ours to try to change the status quo of our family. You know, change that generational curse, if I should say, when it comes to health. And so today we are here to talk a little bit more about her journey with healthy living, and we'll also be focusing a little bit about grains. What are grains? What are some examples? And of course, for the second half of our program, we have something special for you. She has prepared something special that we will be going over into the kitchen to, demonstrate and to sample. Yes. I'll be eating for you today. All right, so let's get right to it. Share with our viewers, how did this journey of healthy living came to be?
Well, I will say that when I came into the Adventist church, that was really when I became more health conscious.
Okay.
And that was at the age of 11. Okay, so it's been quite some time. And also when I went to high school, Canaan High School, I became even more health conscious. So that's pretty much where my journey started. So from age 11 up until now, I've just continued learning more and more about how to be more healthy and why it's so important.
Yes. And as you've said that, some of our viewers may not know, but our church, we speak heavily on the importance of health, and the importance of us taking care of our health. When you go to the hospital, Miss Lisa, a bill there is not pennies, so one of the things that's very important for us is to learn preventative measures.
Right.
Don't wait until you're sick for you to start to eat healthy.
Exactly.
But start to eat healthy now to kind of prevent or
delay
illness.
Yes.
So it's a very good angle for our church to take, and it's one we encourage all to take, and this is one of the purpose of this program, this show, Defining Your Health. We're here to educate, and it's not because we know everything.
Right.
It's not because we are professionals, but we are both here learning along the way.
Yes, and sharing our experiences.
Yeah. So how many years would you say you've been along the way, and maybe kind of share some of the challenges you faced?
Okay. Well, let me first say that my diet in more recent years is not the diet I had when I was like a teenager. My mom, she also became an Adventist, and she started to learn how to prepare healthier meals. We cooked meat, but we were not heavy meat eaters, so it wasn't very hard to transition onto more of a plant-based diet, if I can say that. So I would say for the last 15 years or so, depending on where I was living and depending on what was available to me, I was fluctuating between what we call pescatarian and vegetarian and veganism.
Yes. So, and just to stick up in before you move on, her mother's house used to be the spot to be on Saturday nights.
Yes.
She used to prepare veggie burgers.
Oh my, you still remember that.
We used to mash up a couple of those, right? So, and just to say that healthy living does not have to be a stressful moment. It should not be a stressful time. Healthy living is a journey, as you have heard. It has been a journey for you how you were eating back then is completely different from how you're eating now. So we're not here saying drop everything cold turkey and go.
By no means.
It's a journey. We're here to learn together. We're here sharing ideas, sharing experiences, so that we can all live better.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And I wanted to just say that for a lot of people, there's this impression that switching to a healthier lifestyle, to a healthier diet is expensive. It's a luxury.
Yeah.
I want to say it can be, depending on where you are. Like if you're you're living here in Belize, some items might be more difficult to find, and when you do find them, they will be more pricey. But honestly, we have a lot of really good produce here, a lot of things that we can make from scratch, and it's really not that expensive. Some of the things you have right there in your kitchen, and you'd be surprised that you can make a nice burger patty, for example. Like we had somebody on the show the other day making a nice burger patty, and it's not very expensive at all.
That was made from black beans.
And we always have beans, right? In our cupboard.
Patties from oats. People like, what? Oats? That's so
that's
weird,
what tastes.
but it's very, very, very tasty. Again, it goes back to how you season, how you prepare your veggie substitute, your meat substitutes,
And I also want to just say that give your taste buds time to adjust. Don't just go cold turkey, because I think that's what makes a lot of people fall back on eating healthy, because they're not enjoying the meal, right?
And it becomes like a harass more than fulfillment, more than you accepting that you want to live healthier,
right?
And that's not what God requires. That's not what He wants from us. He created food for us to enjoy, for us to be happy, and for our bodies to feel, healthy.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a torment, so one of the things I'd like to say is to take your time, speak to people. Miss Lisa is a great resource for you to, check in with her for ideas, recipes, and of course, Google.
Yeah.
Mr. Google.
There's a wealth of information on the internet. Really.
I've been using Mr. Google for some time now to find different recipes, because sometimes you prepare the same meals over and over, your family get bored.
Yes,
especially if you have kids. They always want to be eating something differently. So I would go on Google, type in potatoes, whatever, different ways to prepare potatoes.
Yes.
And so I'd come up with different recipes. So we have to be creative.
Yeah. There are different apps out there as well. Like I use Pinterest quite often. And you can find like almost any recipe you want on there. If you only have, like, if you have a extra amount of bananas or plantains and you don't know what to do, you could find a recipe for a plantain bread or a plantain patties or something. So the information is there. We just need to take the time and look.
Yes. But what was it? Some people may say, man, it's so hard to stick with it. I know the New Year is coming, a lot of New Year's resolutions. I don't start to make many lists. But it seems to be a challenge to stick with, to be consistent with healthy living, healthy eating. It's more of a chore more than an enjoyment. What was it that made you consciously say, this is the path I want to take?
Well, it was a number of things, actually. For one, I'm someone, I really dislike being sick. I dread having to go to the hospital. So that's one of the main things that caused me to be like, okay, let me eat healthy and let me enjoy eating healthy, because I don't want to be sick. I had a grandmother, two grandmothers actually. One of them was diabetic, and she had 2 amputations. Both her legs were amputated. You knew my grandmother, and
love that tableta boy.
Yes, she was always making sweets, and I'm not saying anything is wrong with having a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but anything taken to the excess is not good. So looking at her suffering, deteriorating because of diabetes, and then my other grandmother, she had cancer. I have a lot of family members who have lifestyle related illnesses. And I was like, I need to avoid that for myself, and I need to avoid that for my family, because us as mothers, as wives, what we put on our table, that's what our family is going to eat. So we're not only responsible for ourselves, but we're responsible for our entire family and for their well-being. So those are the things that motivates me to stick to what I know.
Yes. I'm so happy that you said that, because a lot of times as women, we do have the power in our hands. Most of the time we're the ones buying the groceries, making the grocery list, cooking the meals. So we have the option to say, hey, I will not prepare this, or I won't purchase this because I know this won't be beneficial for my family, and choosing something healthier. So it's up to us.
Yeah.
It's up to us. And most of the time, what we eat, what we prepare, they eat. Go through it, right? So, let's start. Let's make up our minds that this new year or today, we don't have to wait for the new year. Today, we will start to make healthier choices. You said something that stuck out to me: lifestyle change. Living healthy is not a religious thing. It's something we choose, and gradual lifestyle change is always the way to go.
Right.
We've seen our grandparents suffer, and I think that should be one of the main reasons for us to try our best to live differently, because suffering is no joke.
Exactly.
And to see our grandparents deteriorate before your eyes is very traumatic.
It's heartbreaking.
So to slow that process down, or to alleviate that process, let us make a conscious decision to live healthier. What are other things you think that kept you on this journey? What are other things have you done or practiced that kept you along on this journey? You mentioned you've seen your grandparents suffer. You don't want to suffer, and nobody wants that.
Right.
What are other things?
Yeah, my duty towards my family and my faith. I read in one of a book called The Ministry of Healing that, and I'm paraphrasing, the author said, something to the effect of, many times people pray for healing from various diseases, but because they are the very ones who brought the disease on themselves through their lifestyle, through their habits, through their eating, and not wanting to give up certain things that their body was screaming at them and saying, hey, this is hurting me. God is not going to be able to heal that person, because we have a duty and a responsibility. This picture our body as a machine, a vehicle. You won't put the wrong fuel in your vehicle because your vehicle is going to go in. And we have that duty and a responsibility to God. So that's something that kept me as well. My body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. So I need to take care of this machinery.
Wonderful. Rightfully said. And I'm very pleased, because from when we started the conversation, you kept on saying my family, which means you have family support. It's harder when it's just you in the home. Yes. I know when I started along a healthy journey, it was just me in the home,
right?
Trying to eat healthy. But you have family support. Your husband, your daughter, everybody eats the same.
Yes.
Right? So it might not be the same for you. Maybe you're a viewer at home and you want to start a healthy journey, but it's only you alone in the home that is, even thinking about it. But I don't think it's something that should discourage you. I think it's something that should motivate you, gradually move towards, eating healthier. And you have kids who are picky eaters. You put the carrots, tomato, sweet pepper, diced up small and put it in, sneak it in as you can. It might sound like a Mission Impossible kind of thing, but you can't give up on your family.
Yes. And be creative. Yes. Be creative. I mean, a lot of people get turned off from eating healthy because they're simply not enjoying the meal, and especially when it comes to kids, you have to be creative. Yes. You have to make sure the food is palatable. As much as I have a healthy diet, I practice eating healthy. I struggle with my 4-year-old. She doesn't want to eat certain vegetables and fruits. So I have to resort to hiding it in her favorite food. Like, she loves pasta. So I need to hide the carrots and hide the sweet pepper in the pasta and get for her to get it down.
Yeah, so that she's getting her daily, amount of vitamins and minerals. Wonderful. Miss Lisa, we've shared a lot, but we have to move on. We've been doing a wonderful series here on ATN on the food pyramid. So far, we've covered legumes. We've done vegetables, fruits and vegetables. We had Miss Kay doing a wonderful salad for us. And now we are moving on to grains. We're at grains. And when we think about grains, the first thing that comes to our mind is rice. And with flour and with pasta. these are things we love.
Yes.
You know, and especially here in Belize, our culture, we are big. We don't feel like we'd eat a meal if you don't have that rice on the side or
Tortillas,
a tortilla,
yeah.
you know. My kids would say, if I'd give them a sandwich or something, say, this is not real food. They don't feel like it's real food because it's not rice. You know, but let me get my words together. How far do we go or should we go when it comes to greens? Because greens it's a wonderful thing to consume. I don't think it's something we should eliminate unless you have a health issue.
Yeah.
Maybe like if you're diabetes, you know, greens are things you need to cut back on. But for you, is it a challenge for you?
From the perspective of being able to find it or how I use it.
How you use
how I use it. Well, number one, I try to use a variety. Okay, and I try to use more whole grains as opposed to refined grains.
True.
So the refined grains, and you know, us Adventists were big on this. Growing up in the church, we always hear, you need brown flour, you need whatever you use, brown rice, try to use what is brown, because it means it's in the state where it has most of its nutrients.
Yeah.
If it's refined, then you've lost a lot of like vitamins and minerals and so on. So for me, the first thing I go for is the whole grains and limit the amount that I'm eating.
Yes.
Okay, because for me personally, when I'm having too much carbohydrates, too much grains, I start experiencing bloating.
Okay.
So I listen to my body and I'm like, okay, I've been having too much bread this week, too much Johnny cake, too much pota bun, too much fried jack. It's hard to resist. It's like one more, you know. So you know, the amount that you eat and try to go for the whole grains.
Yes, I love it. I love that you shared that because the whole grain takes a time. It takes a little while to get adjusted to. You know, especially if you grew up eating white flour.
Right.
So it will take a little time, but what I have done is sprinkle it. I mix the flour, white and the wheat together, just as you know, as a beginner level to trying to get your family to eat grains, more whole wheat product. And as you go along, you go fully wheat.
Yeah. Gradually, you can add more and more as you can handle it, because you need to give, again, your taste buds time to adjust.
And then when it comes to the refined, we would go more for the brown sugar instead of the white sugar.
Right.
Again, the brown rice instead of the even the cereals, you go for the whole the brand. What's the name of that cereal again?
The Quaker? Is it the Quaker one?
You go for the Quaker oats instead of the
rolled oats instead of the quick oats.
Yes. What's the difference between the two?
Honestly, when I used to think there was a difference until recently I looked it up and it said that it's just it's not that it's different, it's just the
coarseness.
The coarseness, yeah. Okay. You should be getting the same amount of iron or carbohydrates and what have you in it.
Okay. Yeah. So the coarser it is, for our viewers, the coarser it is, the more fiber it provides.
Yes.
And fiber is key. And that's the thing that's causing us some trouble, Miss Lisa, because the white flour does not contain fiber.
Right.
So, you know, back in the day when we used to not have glue, we use flour and water and we make glue.
Our paste, yeah.
So it does the same exact thing inside of our bodies. It gets sticky inside.
Right. It's the gluten, and it's that is harder to digest. And there are some people who suffer from gluten intolerance.
Yes.
And that prolonged use of that. And that's why it's key to listen to our bodies. There are things that we're eating that we may notice. I get constipated when I'm eating too much of this. Pay attention to it, because that leads to problems later on. You may start having gut problems or, God forbid, colon cancer.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. So we need to make sure that whatever we're consuming, especially when it comes to grain, that it's brand, that it's whole wheat, you know, because the fiber helps us to poop right.
Right.
And that's a whole next show. Because if that poop isn't coming out, then it's just backing up inside.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes you see some huge belly. It's not always bear. It's not always liquor. It is a whole lot of backup poop, but that's another show. It's not for this show. So it's very key for us to be consuming fiber. The last series we spoke about vegetables providing fiber for the body. So in every aspect, we need to be making sure we're consuming fiber in our fruits, in our proteins with beans. We get fiber, and likewise with our greens.
Right, and our vegetables.
Yes. So as we're moving along now, it says here, I just want to read a little portion here. It says, how many grain foods are needed daily? The amount of grains you need to eat depends on your age, sex, height, weight, and activity. Your amount can also depend on whether you are pregnant or breastfeeding. Most people eat enough total grain food. However, few eat enough whole grains. At least half of the grains we eat should be whole grains. It says here that this is very important, and as we will see in the next half of our program, as Miss Lisa is preparing her, what's the name of the bread?
Carrot, banana, walnut bread.
Carrot,
banana, walnut bread.
No, that's a combination. Never thought that these things can go together, but it just goes to show us. Eating is more than just the limited tortilla and fried cake and Johnny cake that we are so used to having culturally, because these are all cultural meals. We need to go beyond. We need to go beyond just these basic breads, quote unquote, that we've been consuming. And not only that, we need to make sure that we are packing these breads that we're making with healthy stuff, adding oats to it. Have you ever thought about adding your oats to your breads?
Even you can sprinkle it on the top, or you can add it in the bread itself.
See, that's something different we can do. And the expert is here. She will share with us. She will share with us much more when it comes to breads. I could smell the bread from here. It's gonna be a tasty one. But talking a little bit now about portion. When it comes to grains, why is it important for us to remember portions all the time? Because we just eat.
Yeah, it's true. And I know a lot of people in Belize, they love their rice. So you'd have the plate pile up with rice. But that is really, it's not balancing out properly, because actually, according to the food platter, they will tell you that you should actually have more vegetables on your plate. If you're eating meat, you should have a smaller piece of meat, and you should have a smaller amount of carbs. So when you, as I mentioned before, overdoing anything, it will have a telling impact on your body.
Definitely.
Right. So there are things that your body need more of, and then it needs less of. So I from what I understand, having too much carb, it can actually affect your body in the long run.
Of course. And it's such a warning for those who are, who have illness like diabetes. Carbs aren't your friend, unfortunately, because remember, these carbs turn to sugar on the inside. Exactly. And even though diabetes is not necessarily sugar as we call it, it's harmful for our bodies. So we have to make sure we are balancing what we're eating. We have to make sure we are portioning what we're eating, and we have to make sure that whatever goes into our mouth is the right things.
Exactly. You have your carbs, but try to go for the whole grains instead of the refined ones, because if you're eating more rice, for example, but it's brown rice, I feel like the benefits are better than if you're eating more white rice. But at the end of the day, just eat listen to your body. If your body is saying stop, do not take out another spoon of rice. Do not take out another scoop of pasta.
You're going to food coma when I start to dish up the meat. They don't have no kind of voices.
That's the issue with the portion size, because people would tend to not listen to their bodies, and that's when they run into problems.
Yes, and they tend to overeat. And that's another show. But as we're coming to the end of this first portion of our discussion today, we have much more, as it's been saying in the beginning. But I really learned a lot from this first part. We need to be conscious. We need to be very conscious of what we are consuming.
Yes.
I have been along the path of transitioning from white to wheat. Not an easy journey, because, like I said, your palate have to get used to this different tasting kind of bread, you know, even your children. But everything is gradual. Sprinkle a little bit of wheat in your white flour. Might look strange, but it's better than just eating the plain old white flour.
Yeah.
You know, white bread is cheaper than wheat, but consider the cost when you go to the doctor. Consider the cost. It's better you invest in getting your nice wheat bread or making your own wheat bread than buying plain old white. Where they have no kind of nutrients, basically.
That's true.
You know, and one of the most important things for why we need to be consuming more whole food is because the fiber, we need it in order to help us to have good bowel movement.
Right.
You know, there's not a time you should be going days without having a bowel movement. That is dangerous. You know, so food like beans, vegetables, food like whole grains, these are things that will help us to have good bowel movement because they're filled with fiber.
Right.
Yeah. So as we take a break now, I just want to invite you to stay with us. Remember to share the link and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Pastor Eladio Davis.
I'm Pastor Denny McCullough.
We are the hosts of your Bible study series, Words of Wisdom. In 2 Timothy 3:16, God reminds us that all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof,
for correction, and for instruction in righteousness.
Words of Wisdom is a specially designed program brought to you by ATN in an effort to share the Advent message to our friends and faithful viewers who are yearning to build a growing and saving relationship with Jesus Christ. If you want to learn more about our rich Adventist heritage, basic fundamental beliefs, counsel on courtship and marriage,
or simply a deeper study of God's written word, then join us Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. on our Facebook and YouTube pages, as well as Channel 98 on Central TV. Join in and be a part of this special Bible studies effort by praying that God continues to lead and bless this ministry, by becoming a faithful viewer and inviting your friends and family to like and share our programs, by your kind donations and of course your generous financial contributions. Contact us at 416139351 or send us an email at atn@cbm.belizeunion.org. We are located at 10 3/4 miles Philip Golson Highway. Thank you for being a part of the ATN ministry. It is our prayer that you will keep the book of the law always on your lips.
meditate on it day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to that which is written therein. Then thou shalt make thy way prosperous and have good success.
Really understand our youth and the challenges they face?
Are we truly listening to what they're saying or even care about how they feel?
Youth Come Alive is a new and innovative program where we discuss issues that matter, such as spirituality, sexuality, relationships, addictions, careers, and so much more.
Join us on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on all our streaming platforms.
Youth Come Alive, a program for youth.
In the heart of Americas stands the Inter-American Division. It is comprised of all of Central America, the northern parts of South America, and the islands of the Caribbean Sea. What a great diversity fills each corner of this region. Flora, fauna, culture. The strength of our church in this territory is its 3,681,066 members filled with faith, hope, and courage. Our doors are always open. Meeting in 23,319 churches and congregations, large, small, outdoors, or online. It's amazing to know that God is present in each one of them. The Inter-American Division is comprised of 24 unions, divided into 156 local conferences. We spread the message through various means, including the 35 hospitals and clinics across the territory. In its 14 universities, many young people are trained daily to serve God in different professional fields. One theological seminar prepares pastors to serve the church membership and preach the gospel across Inter-America. This is a territory with millions of school-aged children. 790 primary and secondary schools deliver Adventist Christian education to 145,596 students through the dedicated labor of 9,879 teachers committed to serving God and humanity. 9 centers of influence work with creative ideas of evangelism to target various people groups. The gospel also travels by air and the internet. Messages of hope are shared 24/7 through television programs produced in 3 languages and through broadcast by more than 90 radio stations. The Inter-American Division is this and more. Every day, our church works to preach the gospel to more than 307 million residents across its territory.
Pathfinders, we are getting ready to be in Jamaica. What is happening there? To celebrate the 5th Inter-American Division, Camp Paris. You cannot afford to miss it. Belize, come along. Yes, we're going to have honors. We're going to have a pin trading. We're going to have friendship, social, meeting together throughout all the entire territory of Inter-American Division. When? Next year, 2023. You cannot afford to miss it, Pathfinders. Be a part. Come, let's go to Jamaica. Yay, 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 yay.
are back. We want to thank you so much for staying with us thus far in our program. We've been having a wonderful time here. First, we were on set. Now we are in the kitchen.
Yes.
And you know, when we're in the kitchen, things gonna throw down.
Yes, it's showtime.
Yes, it's showtime. We've been having a wonderful discussion, Miss Lisa. We've been sharing. She's been sharing her journey of healthy living, healthy eating, and we've also been talking about grains. Like I shared in the beginning, we are having a series here on our food pyramid, and our focus is on grains. Why is it important for us to consume? And we've been sharing some healthy options for you all to maybe think about when it comes to grains. Yes. Grains come in many forms, as we've shared. One of the things I know as Belizeans we consume a lot is flour.
Yes.
So Miss Lisa, our health enthusiast, is here to share with you one of her favorite recipe. It's a
carrot, banana, walnut bread.
Walnut bread. And
Yes.
I'm sure you're like, what? Carrot, banana, walnut bread? I don't think they go together. Well, let me tell you, it may sound like it doesn't go together, but when we show you the finished product, you will see what we have. I'll be tasting in your honor and be giving you the feedback of what this bread tastes like. So, Miss Lisa, what do we have here?
All right, so we have all of our ingredients already measured out and set out on the table. We have we have some raisins, we have walnuts, we have our nutmeg and cinnamon powder, we have vanilla extract, we have baking soda and baking powder, which is going to be the raising agent.
Okay.
And the baking soda specifically works as a raising agent, but is also a preservative, especially in this warm climate. It's easy for these kinds of breads to go bad. So you want to make sure that you not only use baking powder, but you're using baking soda. And I think maybe our viewers, they know that baking soda is a multi-purpose cleaner.
Of course.
You can use it to wash your clothes. You can use it to clean your kitchen and so many other things. All right, we have here our brown sugar.
And why did we choose brown instead of white?
I chose brown because it's healthier. It has the molasses in there as opposed to the white one. Okay. And I have flour here. Now I noticed that our flour in Belize is somewhat different from the ones abroad that I've seen, where it's bleached. But as I look at this flour, I could see that it has some brown specks in it. So I would say that this one hasn't been too refined. Okay, but again, you can substitute this for some wheat. But just bear in mind that when you're using wheat flour, it's a bit tricky. Your product can be your finished product can turn out a bit sticky and gummy, heavier. So you have to really eyeball it and gauge how much of that you're using. I have coconut, shredded coconut here, and this coconut was from my tree.
Look at now. Watch out, watch out.
And I have a grated carrot, a large carrot, and 2 bananas. Now you can see I have 2 bananas here. One is very dark, or speckled, and it's dark, and this one is, I would say, it's ripe. You can eat it, but this one has more antioxidants. And so I prefer my bananas like this, and also it makes your bread a bit sweeter, naturally sweeter, so you can use less sugar if you want.
Of course, of course. And I'm happy that you said that, Miss Lisa, because those bananas are the ones we tend to throw away, not knowing that they make some of the best breads and some of the best smoothies.
Right.
Yeah. So don't throw them away.
Use them in your bread.
If it's too much for you, and you just peel them, put them in a freezer bag, and put it in your freezer until you're ready to use them. Now, we may have somebody who's saying, "You all have been talking about wheat flour. Why are we using wheat flour for this bread?"
Yeah.
So why aren't we using wheat flour? Remember, we said that wheat flour provides the fiber that we need. Why aren't we using wheat flour? Well, you may have that question, but notice we are using coconut, we are using carrots, and I'm sure that these two will be the fiber, provide the fiber.
As well as your nuts.
Yeah.
As well as your raisins here.
So we do have fiber that we are putting into the bread. So at times you may not have
the whole wheat
whole
flour.
wheat. You may not have whole wheat, but you can add things to your bread to put in the fiber inside of it. You know, the fiber that we very much need.
Right.
All right.
You can also add oats, you know,
Yes.
in this bread as well.
Yes. So I mean, it's a power packed bread. It's one that is filled with all the nutrients our body needs, and it's one that you should try. Now, when it comes to the walnuts, you may have a few viewer that may say it's quite pricey.
Yes, this is an option.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to go in the bread. Likewise, the raisins. You can use what you have, but again, it's just to add to the nutritional value of what you're making. Yeah.
So it can go as cheap as you want it to, or affordable as you want it to, or it can go a little bit expensiver if you want to add more nutritional value. So you can eliminate things, you can add things. It all goes back to your preference, what your family enjoys, what your diet can handle. But that does not stop you. It should not stop you from preparing this wonderful bread.
Exactly. And this recipe, if I can say, it calls for desiccated coconut, the unsweetened one.
Okay.
I haven't been able to find it here, the unsweetened one in the stores. And the one that I did see that was sweetened is very expensive. But I had coconuts on my tree for free.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of being in Belize, because we can, some of these things are
right in our backyards,
you know, and we can use them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to it then. Let's walk us through the process.
All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to mash the bananas.
And as you're peeling those bananas, again, we remind you that bananas in a state, it's in the best. This is at its best.
Right.
You know, the riper it is, the better it is for you.
So I'm gonna invite Miss Chantel. I'm gonna put her to work to smash those bananas for me, but we don't want to smash them
too much.
We don't want them to be like very, you don't want them to have chunks. You don't want them too soft. Let me put this one right here.
And Miss Lisa, I'm noticing something, and I'm sure viewers notice as well. I don't see any eggs here.
Oh yes, this is a vegan bread. There's no butter, there's no milk, and there's no egg.
Okay.
And by the way, eggs are getting expensive, so that's,
you know, unless you have a chicken, that's another thing.
Okay, so that's good. Then, because they wanted to have a little, when we cut the bread, we want to see just a few pieces of the banana in there.
Okay.
All right. So
very good. How did I do
yeah,
here?
I think that's good.
All right.
All right. So next we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla to this.
Okay. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and you know that vanilla is a flavoring we use a whole lot, but we have to be very careful because some vanillas come with alcohol in it.
Yes.
You know, so that's another thing. We have to be careful. We can't just pull any vanilla off the shelf and bite. And always have to read the label. All right, so this one is from Reiner's.
Yeah, this is the one that my grandmother used to use way back. So
you're gone way back.
This is the brand I stick to. This is a trusted brand.
And where can we find the Reiner's?
I find them almost anywhere, even in the Chinese grocery stores.
I feel like it's the first time I'm seeing this brand.
Oh, this brand has been around for a long, long, long.
Okay, so you're keeping the heritage going. All right, so we have the oil.
I'm adding olive oil, but you can use whatever vegetable oil you have at home. It doesn't have to be olive oil.
Okay.
But bear in mind that the type of oil that you use may have a certain aftertaste.
Okay.
You know, so for me, I don't really like using the 1, 2, 3 oil. Even the soy oil or the canola oil, because to me it gives a taste that I personally don't like. Okay. But you can use what you have at home.
That makes sense.
All right.
I like to use a Nutrioli oil. I think that's soy.
I think it's soy. Yeah, I think it's soy.
But I mean, try your best with your oils as well, because that's a whole nother show. But
there's so many oils out there.
Yes. One of the goals is to make healthier choices and do it gradually. You may not be able to change all your ingredients or your whole shopping list to healthy products, but one at a time.
Be gradual. It's a step-by-step process. If you try to change too quickly and want to do too much, you will become overwhelmed, and that's when you fall back.
Yes.
And be like, I can't do this, I can't afford it.
Yes.
All right. Be kind to yourself and do things gradually. Okay, so now we're gonna add the brown sugar.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna just leave this here for a bit
Okay.
Now I'm going to combine the dry ingredients. So I'll put my
All right.
flour here.
So as you're combining your dry ingredients, Miss Lisa, the holidays are here.
Oh, yes.
And
Right upon
everybody's
us.
thinking, I could imagine everybody, they pull out the family recipe, boy. Knock it off.
Yes.
Shake it off. The cake recipe, black cake, white cake. These are the things that makes Christmas in Belize Christmas.
Yes.
If you know the smell of cake, the bake Christmas Eve, something wrong with your house. I'm not a big cake eater, but I believe this would be a perfect substitute. If you have a family member that have a little sweet tooth, you know, maybe people usually come over at your house here in Belize. If you're an international viewer, people will come over, and when they come over, they expect to eat cake.
Yes.
You know, so
like
I believe that this is a
this is a healthier option. You know, you won't feel guilty eating this.
Yeah.
All right. But again, moderation in all things. You don't want to eat too much of anything.
Yes.
Too much of anything is not good.
Yes.
But this would be a very good substitute for your black cake or your white cake or your fruit cake, whatever cake you usually make at Christmas time.
Yeah.
All right.
And I could as you're going ahead there, I like this because you don't have to feel guilty. Usually after Christmas dinner, you feel the same, man, I messed up the diet. I mess up the diet. I've been doing good all this year, but when it comes to Christmas, that's really dope. You know, but it doesn't have to be that way. Plan your meal. Plan your meal for the holidays. You know, if you are a vegetarian and you know you'll be visiting family, you know you have to cook before you go. Yes. You know, take your meal or eat before you go. That way, you know, fall off.
Right.
You know, these are little things that we can do to help us to stay committed to a healthy living, to healthy eating. You know, you may have family members that don't eat the way you eat. You know, like in my case, we're vegetarians, so a lot of times the meals are prepared at home, and we always make sure that we eat before we go anywhere we go. You know, because you don't want to end up grabbing anything that's there and you know,
and you don't want to make people uncomfortable either. That you know, you're obviously hungry. Your kids are ready to eat, but you're kind of like dodging. Oh, okay, we don't eat this, we don't eat that.
Yeah, or a dish.
It creates an awkward.
Take a dish. This
Yeah.
would be something perfect to take when you go to your family dinner for the holidays. You know, it's different from the usual.
Yes.
And it gives the guests an option, a different option, a healthier option.
That's right.
You know, so
that's right.
things for you to consider. Things for you to consider.
Okay, so I'm gonna add now my nutmeg and cinnamon.
Okay.
Okay.
And that smells so good.
Yeah, it's already.
That smells so good.
So we're just gonna give this a little stir.
Stir it up, stir it up.
And then we're going to gradually add in the banana.
Okay, this mixture.
All this mixture right here. Okay.
So quick and so easy.
Very simple.
And if you notice, it does not require any hand mixer or anything like that.
At all. You can just use your hand to mix it.
Doesn't require anything electric for you to mix it up. Just a regular spoon. And this is something you can do with your kids, right?
Yes, my daughter and I, we make this together at times.
Perfect thing for you to make along with your kids. You know, and as you're preparing this, you could have one mashing the bananas, the other pouring in, you know, the 8 different ingredients. You always have to get your kids involved when it comes to preparing meals.
And then it causes them to want to give it a try. They want to taste it. They want to eat it.
Of course. Because they'll feel good that, you know, they help make it. You know, so try to get your kids involved when it comes to preparing meals. In goes the coconut.
So I'm stirring it. I don't want to press too much on it. Like, you know, I don't want to make it too mushy. So I'm just kind of like folding it in.
Okay.
Yes.
And she's making sure she's incorporating all the dry spots, no? So that when we pour it out in the pan, everything is well incorporated.
All right, let me now add in the raisins and the walnuts.
What are the health benefits of raisins?
So raisins is high in antioxidants as well, which is good for fighting cancers.
Okay.
Same as the bananas, right?
Mhm.
So let me and again, some of these things are optional.
Mhm.
You know, if you have it there in your kitchen, if you don't have this, it doesn't mean that, oh, I can't make this bread. You
Mhm.
just use what you have.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can even substitute, like at times I substitute the grated carrot for zucchini if I have zucchini at home. If I don't, then I don't. Or even the little green squash,
Really?
the green pumpkin, you can use that as
All
well. But
right.
you just really have to
Interesting.
eyeball it because some things are more wet. Like your zucchini is wetter than the carrots.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, we have it all nicely mixed together now.
I was wondering
Hey, look
at
at that.
first if we would have needed a glass of water, but no, you don't.
No, you don't. You don't.
No, you don't.
You don't. And that's why when I was making this with a family member, I was teaching her how to make it. She was like, but the how you
You don't
how,
need
how you
milk?
come together? Where's the milk? You know
Where's
the
the
add
egg?
nothing here. I'm like, you just watch it come together, and it did.
Yeah.
You know, so this is ready to go in the oven. Let me just transfer it to my baking pan.
All right.
Now, if you don't have a non-stick baking pan, please be sure that you
Grease.
oil your
Mhm.
pan. Okay, otherwise you won't be able to get
So
your
this
bread out
one
of
is
the pan.
non-stick.
So this is a non-stick
All right.
granite stone. So
And these
We're
are the
gonna-
investments you can make.
it's worth
You know,
it.
it's a perfect Christmas gift.
It's worth it.
Perfect Christmas gift for those moms that like to cook. Perfect Christmas gift for you to ask for.
All right,
One of
we're
the
almost
things
there.
One of the things with living a healthy lifestyle, you need to invest in the things that you need, especially if you cook a lot. You know, we hardly eat outside. I'm not sure if it's the same with you. So we cook a lot at home.
Yes.
You know, when we're
it's the
eating
same.
outside, it's because it's a special treat or that's somebody's birthday.
It's really hard to find you know, certain options out there, healthier options, especially if you're a vegetarian or
Mhm.
worse if you're a vegan.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge to eat outside right now in Belize.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hoping that soon enough we'll have more people on the bandwagon as far as eating healthy.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that one of these days our church might have a vegetarian
I
restaurant.
hope the same too.
Yes, it's something that's becoming popular.
Yeah, and I'm pleased to say that a lot of people who are not seven-day Adventists are catching.
They're
The
getting health
healthy
conscious.
lifestyle is catching on. So we got to make sure that we're sounding the alarm, that we're putting it out there. You know that eating healthy is the way to go. All right, look at it. Look at it.
So you can do two things. You can just put this on top of your bread, or you could fold it into the bread.
Oh, okay.
However you may want it, because there are some people who don't like nuts or
yeah.
walnuts, so it might be kind of like hard for them to get it out of the bread. They'll be picking out the nuts out of the bread the whole time.
Especially if you have a picky eater.
Yes.
I want our viewers to see what it looks like, though. Isn't that gorgeous? So it makes one loaf.
It makes one loaf.
My four would mash this up in that note.
Just double your recipe.
My kids, they love to eat. They love to eat. So this is a quick and easy thing for you to do. Replace your white cake, replace your black cake with something like this for the holidays. No, Miss Lisa, you know what's next?
It's time to see the finished
It's time to see the finished product.
So let me just move this out of the way.
TV magic. TV magic.
Ta-da-da.
TV magic. And you bring out the finished product.
The finished product.
Ooh, look at that. Nice and brown. Looking lovely. No.
All right, time to sample.
Time to sample. I'll be eating for you all, like I said.
So
Go
should
right
I do
ahead.
the honors
Go right
and cut
ahead.
it for
Go
you?
Right ahead.
All right.
I like it because it's moist. You know, it's not hard. It doesn't look like something where one you want to challenge eat.
If you notice, I put my walnuts for me. I put the walnuts both on top and inside.
Okay. All right. Looking gorgeous. Looking gorgeous.
So time for the moment of truth.
This is my moment now. And as you can see, you can clearly see what's inside.
Yeah, you can see the coconut pieces, you can see the carrot, you can see the raisins.
This is a treat. This is a real treat. And as I slice into it, I hope I could end that. You could end off the show. You could finish off the show.
I think everyone's waiting to see your reaction. Okay,
It's
she likes
delicious.
it.
You're doing your body a whole lot. Your body will be happy.
Right.
You know? So easy to make.
So wholesome, so nutritious, and you can have this with well, if you use cheese, you can have it with cream cheese, or you can, if you don't do cheese, you can do a tofu, like a scrambled tofu. I would prepare a scrambled tofu with this for breakfast. Yeah.
And if
a glass of orange
it could
juice.
be an easy dessert.
It can be a dessert as well.
Easy dessert after a healthy meal.
Yes. No
Miss
guilt.
Lisa,
No guilt.
This is delicious. I was thinking like how the carrots would work along with the banana, fruits and vegetable together. It works well.
Yes. Yeah.
Let us not underestimate the power of food. I
It's
think
a science.
sometimes fear
Yeah.
is a thing that stops us from experiencing other things.
Yeah.
You know, we're so used to just eating one set of things here in Belize over and over and we never get tired.
Yeah.
But it's time to step out of your usual,
Yes.
you know, and try something new. And this carrot, banana, walnut bread, I finally got it. I finally got it. Is a perfect option for you. Again, Miss Lisa, we thank you so much for staying with us to the end. Really appreciate the wisdom you have brought to the program today. And we thank you, our viewer, for staying with us to the end. Any final words you want to leave with our viewers?
Health is wealth. You know, if you're not well, you cannot take care of others. So choose you and, you know, just do your very best. If you fall back, dust yourself off, get back up again. There's so much information out there. You're going to make it. Don't give up.
I love it. I'll finish this off for you all, right? We'll talk some more. Remember, we'll have the recipe up on our Facebook page where you can go back, check it out, and prepare this wonderful bread for your family.
Yes.
Again, like we usually say, God bless.
Bye.
As a non-profit organization, the Adventist Television Network solely relies on your financial support. By partnering with us through a monthly donation, you will help us to continue to fulfill the mission in taking the gospel into all the world. For more information, please call 613-9351 or email us at atnfin@cbm.belizeunion.org. Thank you for your prayers and support of the ATN ministry, and together we may hasten the soon coming of our Lord Jesus Christ.